Hey, welcome to another Schmoedown Top 10. Tonight we're talking about top 10 matches, and we've got a great panel to talk about them. And first up, we've got the usual host of the summit, but she's making sure I do a good job hosting this, Kristen Smith.
Yep, that's just, I'm quality control. That's all. That's all. Yeah.
And also here, he's usually the grumpy old man in the corner on Rankum, but he's here as well, is Cody. Cody, how's it going?
I am so excited to talk about this with some of my favorite people, not Matt. So this will be
fun. We've also got someone who's bound to have a whole list with not probably no above the line matches whatsoever. Is Linus Babcock. Linus, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. I think we can all agree anonymously that the best match of the year was Garden Hosers versus Scream Queens. That was everyone's number one, right? Right? Okay. Just gotta throw that out there so no one's surprised later.
And we've also probably got the number one team action supporter, even though they're now going on different paths. Matthew Kearns. Matthew, how's it going?
Okay, we're going to stop right here. Two things. One, you almost called me Mark again. Second thing, you're really starting it off with that shit, Malcolm? How about we talk about Keaton March's run in the Inner Geekdom tournament? How would you like to do that, Malcolm? Happy to be here, as usual.
I thought he would have taken it as a compliment that I thought he looked like Mark Quiley, but apparently not. But to kick it off, I'm going to throw it over to Kristen Smith. Kristen, what is your 10 through to 6?
All right, so I'm sure I forgot stuff. This is going to be pretty much how every single one of my lists is. I'm going to get in big trouble for forgetting something super obvious. But my number 10 is the Ash versus the Evil Dead celebrity match for a number of reasons. Maybe not like the most traditional pick for best, one of the 10 best matches of the year. However, it was just a heck of a lot of fun. I don't remember the last time I've had that much fun laughing and watching the Schmoedown. And it had just the last appearance in the Schmoedown of the late, great John Schnepp. So it's hard for me not to include it in my top 10 list just for that alone. And also, like Bruce Campbell. It's pretty cool. My number 9 was Dan Murrow versus Andrew Guy. If you're talking about matches that are complete and utter shocks, this is definitely like one of the top ones for being just completely, I never would have saw it coming. Maybe not everyone's favorite match, but definitely had me shocked when I was watching it the first time. My number 8, also maybe not everyone's favorite. Actually, they told me beforehand that I was stupid for picking it, pretty much. Corruption versus Who's the Boss. Again, maybe not everyone's favorite match, but I think that the smack talk was on point. There was just a lot happening outside of the trivia, and I mean, it really kind of cemented Who's the Boss as a very, very great team. And same with Corruption. I think that they're going to move forward and be a good team. And this match kind of cemented them both as good teams. My number 7 was the Star Wars Triple Threat match. Not only was it a live match, which we got the great introduction of live matches this year in the Schmoedown, but it had 3 of the heaviest hitters in the Star Wars League in a triple threat match to decide who was going to go up against no one for the belt. Unfortunate, but it was any one of these 3 people could have won easily, and it was just impressive to watch how much they knew about Star Wars. And my number 6 is the Above the Line versus Patriots match for the title where the Patriots won. And self-explanatory. I think it was in my top 10 moments of the year as well. Just the joy that they had winning, and you don't see Drew McWeeny getting that emotional about anything ever. And so it's just great to have that happen. And I don't know if anyone could leave that match feeling upset. Like it just like felt like so like momentous. So I don't know. That's the reason I picked it, was just it made you feel good watching it. So that's my 10 through 6.
Those are definitely some great matches there. Next up, I've got Cody. Cody, give us your 10 through to 6.
Not that one. So my number 10 is actually the Commissioner Bowl. Because I kind of had a lot of fun with this. I think it's kind of like when I do reactions and watch it with people, it kind of goes up on my list. But the Commissioner Bowl is really fun because you could see like the entire side, like Harloff had a plan, I think, like how it was going to go, and then it kind of totally went opposite. And you have to like change because he always plans two things. He always says, and that was clearly it when Emma wins and Harloff has to come out, and then it's the storyline. It wasn't like the highest scoring or anything, but it was a lot of fun with all of them sitting at the desk, especially Harloff and Dagnino sitting across the table. Like, that's fantastic. Number 9 is actually Founding Fathers versus Corruption. I like this match because it stars John Roca, but it was just like a new guard, old guard kind of thing, like battle. And yes, it ended in like one of the worst ways possible, but it also follows with one of the best post-match interviews. So all that wrapped into one. It's one of my favorites, and it shows how pissed Roca gets when things happen in the Schmoedown for him. Number 8 is a match that really took me by surprise, and it stayed on my list all the way, but it's dropped a little bit, and it's Cody Hall versus Lon Harris. That match was such a shocker because it shouldn't have went anywhere close to that, especially the season Lon had near the end. But like Cody getting a perfect round, Cobster screaming, everybody yelling that he got a correct answer. Lon's just sitting there like, this is like getting into my head a little bit. So it was such a fun match. Number 7, top 10 versus top that. The double perfect rounds. Giving biopics, just everything. Matt Nost and John Roca are, sad because of Nost, but will always be one of my favorite teams, my favorite team, and they were just at the height of their power in the Schmoedown, and I still go back to that match and watch it a lot, and it showed that you need to watch the matches before you play somebody because they give away key weaknesses. And my number 6 was Andrenko versus Irwin. This match was awesome because I had it going a different direction. And when, like, Andrenko wins, like, oh my crap, I won. And he's going on to face, Bibiani at that point. So that match was just so cool because I love Andrenko, and I just don't think before this season, he didn't get too many matches. He didn't get thrown into enough, and he finally, like, solidified that he is actually a super strong player, and we need to see more of him. And Irwin, how his season ended, for him to have a loss on it to Andrenko is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I know Brooklyn will definitely be happy to see more Mark Andrenko this year. Next up, we've got Linus. Linus, what is your 10 through to 6?
All right, at number 10, I have one Cody just talked about, but Cody Hall versus Lon Harris was a crazy match. The whole build-up for the match was Lon Harris trying to get into Cody's head and just, I'm going to pick this super easy opponent and just get a win. And then after round 1, Lon Harris is down by 4 points and Cody is playing a perfect game. And it's just crazy to see the underdog story that almost happened, but Lon took the match back in sudden death. And I don't think also it's one of the most high-scoring matches because rounds 2 through 3 kind of fall off a little, but the energy and just both players kind of in each other's heads, and like it's just a crazy energy because Cody doesn't think he can be there and he just plays super well. And Cody's just a fun person in general. At number 9, I got Mark Andrenko versus Ethan Irwin. That match, I think everyone kind of thought Ethan Irwin was going to take that one pretty easily, and for the first 2 rounds it looked like Ethan Irwin was taking it really easily. I believe he got a perfect round, but Mark Andrenko has like some amazing guesses in the match. Maybe they're not educated guesses, but he comes back there. That's the true underdog story. The giant Ethan Irwin was defeated, and we get a rematch that everyone was very much anticipating. At number 8, I have John Roca versus William Bibiani, the match that finally happened after all that build-up through the previous seasons and the rivalry we had, and the match certainly delivered. It was a great 5-round championship match, and we got to see Roca regain the belt, which was really cool to see. At number 7, I have Dan Murrell versus Andrew Guy, which is a TKO, but it doesn't feel like that because it's another one where the energy and the whole vibe of the match was so cool because you get to see Andrew Guy, another underdog, taking over, and that's kind of a common theme of my list that I just love. These underdog matches when the underdog wins and beats the giant is just so cool to see, and this match was like the epitome of that in the Schmoedown. At number 6, I have top 10 versus top that. Like they said, dual perfect rounds, top 10 playing the game of their life, the best game the team's ever played. They miss one question in the final round, but score 35 points to top that's 30 points. And yeah, such a cool match, so high scoring. And that was like the season opener for teams. And just to see that the first match of the year were just as good as the later match of the year, we had a fantastic season.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of great matches this season, but I'm going to throw it over to Matt. Matt, what is your 10 through to 6?
Okay, so my number 10 match is Wildberries versus the Kingsmen. This match may not be like super amazing trivia-wise, but on the comedy side, this is one of the greatest Schmoedown matches. It starts out with the Wildberries come in, drinking as per usual, and then the Kingsmen challenge them to it. Jack Hine just gets up and tries to show the Wildberries that they're not afraid of them when it comes to that. This match, just from beginning to end, had me cracking up, as most Wildberries matches do, and I think this is also, if I believe this is the first time that we saw Devon kind of break his fake accent, which is one of my favorite things in the Schmoedown, is when, or at least when the Kingsmen were playing together. Although their history, we're not really sure what's happening this upcoming season. Regardless, this is one of the funniest Schmoedown matches. At number 9, I have Shirewolves versus the Lion's Den. This was, of course, the first match of the Shirewolves. Everyone was anticipating once the build-up of them joining together and then playing the Lion's Den. I have this match mostly just because of the interplay between Tom and Ken is so hilarious. And then also the fact of, like, everyone kind of thought that this was going to be, like, a KO and everything, but then it, like, at a certain point, it got very nerve-wracking that Shirewolves may lose. I just had a ton of fun with this match, again, mostly just because Lion's Den were just hilarious. You can see a commonality between my matches is the comedy is really up there. At number 8, I have Kalinowski versus Habon. This is from round 1 of the Inner Geek tournament. I have this mostly because I like the fact that this was the beginning of Kalinowski as a heel in the game. We had sort of seen the lead up to this in like cutscenes, but this was the first match where we had him actually in a match playing as the heel, and it was just really interesting to watch and fun in a kind of demented way where you kind of, or at least for me, I was rooting for the bad guy to win. But at number 7, I have Mark Riley versus Andrew Guy. This match I did not particularly want this match to happen in Schmoedown at all. However, I have this on my list, and I have it so high because this marked the return of Mark Riley, which, you know, I give it up to Andrew Guy. He beat my favorite competitor, but at least he kind of brought my favorite competitor back to competing, so I can't be upset about that. And then finally at number 6, I have Who's the Boss versus Cinemaniacs. This match, from the promos to the post-match interviews, was hilarious. Matt Nost coming in and trying to like slowly burst the beach bubble and still refusing to be a part of the elaborate entrances. And then just when Matt Nost and Ben Bateman are on a table together, just they know how to like screw with each other. And it was also just a great match trivia wise as well. Yeah, and it was one of my favorite matches at the Anarchy tournament. So that's my 10 through 6.
Yeah, I mean, Cinema NX is definitely my favorite team out of the Anarchy, but sadly I don't have any matches of mine. But the matches I do have on mine, at number 10, I've got John Roker versus Aoife Earn from the Spectacular. This match was just a really good match overall. Like, they're both really high scoring. Just and we get a new champion from someone who actually debuted, and just Ethan has been on a tear all season. Just capped off the year with the title. It's definitely going to start this year off in an interesting way. At number 9, I've got the Ash versus Evil Dead match. This one I just found was really entertaining from start to finish. Bruce Campbell on the desk giving away answers. The late great John Schnepp, like, it's just all elements worked and just entertaining, and it's just one of the only 2 celebrity matches we actually had this year, so it's definitely interesting. At number 8, I've got Mara Konopik versus Mike Kalinowski from the Spectacular. This one is really great, and it just shows why both of them have a lot of knowledge of inner geekdom, and Mike winning the title, and being champion for the first time after chasing it for a long time is just great. At number 7, I've got Take the Cannoli versus Self-Righteous Brothers. Drew and Brienne had just great chemistry, and I believe this was the match that Brienne convinced Drew to actually dress up for an entrance, and it just came out, and their knowledge just worked together. And Self-Righteous Brothers didn't disappoint either, because no one knew who Mark Edward Hugh was before, and they brought him in and just they blew everyone away from what he actually knew. And then my number 6 is Mara Konopik versus Jason Inman from the live match for the Inner title. This one I thought really good. A lot of people thought, oh yeah, Jason, there's no way Mara is beating Jason for the title. There's no way. And a lot of people going that live event would be a factor. Mara showed it was not a factor, and she showed that she could take down Jason Inman. It was a really great match from start to finish, and yeah, and even what happened afterwards with Kalinowski just coming out to rain on Mara's parade by saying that he was coming out to take that title at Spectacular was just the icing on the cake. And that was my 10 through to 6. Now I'm going to throw it back to Kristen for her 5 to 3.
All right, so my 5 to 3, again, I pick whatever I want to pick for whatever reasons I want them, so I don't care what people say in the comments. Take the Cannoli versus Self-Righteous Brothers I had at 5. This could easily have been like a title match or the finale to the team match, and it was one of the first ones that we saw. It was just so good from both sides. Each team played ridiculously well. You had a completely new person, like a complete rookie to the Schmoedown, debuting in Mark Edward Hoyk and just blowing everyone out of the water. Honestly, I thought he was fantastic. I don't know if he understood everything about the Schmoedown quite yet, but he certainly went in on that entrance with Whitney. They went hard on that entrance. And all over, I just thought that these two teams, they had respect for each other. They played the game really well. The trivia was on point, and it was just a fantastic match, and I'd rewatch it many times. My number 4 is Rachel versus Mara, and my top 4 changed kind of a lot. I kept moving them around. So maybe I would put this one higher if I was doing the list tomorrow. But you know, in terms of things outside of the trivia, it was pretty lax, which is where my brain was. This was just a trivia match. And like what a trivia match it was. You can't get much better than this match. These ladies know their stuff and are both terrifying about what they know, and basically duked it out for 3 rounds plus some death. So it's hard to not love this match. It was just fantastic. But in terms of like the entire thing, you know, the post-match interviews, the pre-match interviews, all that, like it was lacking there because they weren't feeling well. But the trivia itself was fantastic, which is why it's so high up even without their energy, you know, outside of it. And my number 3 might be weird for some people, but it's actually Team Action versus DC Movie News. Yeah, maybe not the best match, but if you think about what it started probably the most important storyline that the Schmoedown has ever had. Seriously, it started Mike's, you know, descent into sadness and you know, healery. And I mean, really, that's just the biggest reason to like this match is what happened afterwards. And of course, you have Team Action just being the biggest dicks. They're great people, but they know how to push buttons. And yeah, just that post interview with DC Movie News was like heartbreaking and interesting. And yeah, I love this match for what it brought. Maybe the trivia is not your favorite, but man, did this thing change the course of the Schmoedown. So that's my 5 through 3.
Yeah, and storylines definitely mean a lot in the Schmoedown, so that definitely is a great match that include the storyline. But I'm going to throw it over to Cody. Cody, what is your 5 to 3?
Okay.
Cool. Oh, well, thank you so much, Malcolm. My first one is Lon Harris versus Ethan Irwin. This was literally a slugfest. And it went down to the wire. This is just shows Ethan got the title this year. And he did not have an easy road at all to be able to win it at all. He had one of the strongest years and had so many hard matches to actually do to win. So that's why I think Lon's kind of like Bibiani after like the thing. I just want him to get to that shot, but he always has to go against like a super hard juggernaut, and it just doesn't end well for him. My number 4 is Clark Wolf versus Ethan Irwin as well. Because this one killed me. Because as it was said, Southside with me, it was Southside with you, and like I was saying it as you, and she said me. I was just like, oh no. Because if she would have won, she would have went, and it would have been fantastic to see. And again, this just shows Clark's like season 2. If she would have won, I would have almost put her for probably Player of the Year at that point. It was just a dominant performance, but Ethan went on and ended up getting this title. The third, Above the Line versus Patriots. This one probably would rank a little higher. I love the Patriots, not for the reason most people do. They were just the best team for like character-wise, just to piss people off and make very interesting. Above the Line was just, you know, 2 strong players sit across from the table and answer questions. I mean, but I liked it finally because you could see the emotion from Above the Line. They were so happy when they finally won. I think I put Linus in the tilt mode, and I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, so that was my number 3 for them. And I did a Kristen Smith. I am so pissed. I forgot one match on here, like she did during moments, and I hate myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've forgotten a few matches myself just from your list, Cody. So, but speaking of Linus, Linus, what is your 5 through to 3?
All right, my number 5 is Who's the Boss versus the Shire Wolves, the championship match. It's spectacular. This might be some people's favorite match of the year, and I thought a lot of it was such a great match, especially round 2, seeing both players answer their 6 questions right for the 12 points was something insane to see. In the round 3, they all got every question right. It's just probably one of the best played matches, both teams we've ever seen. But yeah, this the characters, the storylines that went up to it, seeing Riley and Clark play each other just after they were teammates, and now he's challenging for the belt against her, and just seeing Ben Bateman going up against the Shirewolves again was such a cool matchup. At number 4, I have another title match from Spectacular, Mike Kalinowski versus Mark Knopik 2. This match, I think, was really insane, and it was the best match from the event, just because it was such a back and forth. You started with Mara in the lead, then Mike took a lead, and then they were tied, and then they were tied, and we went to sudden death, and it was just such a high level of play between both players. And to see Mike Kalinowski finally take the belt that he wanted so badly that he made a tournament for. Well, I guess he didn't make the tournament, Christian Harloff, but that he helped create a tournament for, and he still just barely missed her on such a hard question to come back and take the title in sudden death. It was such a cool thing to see him do. And at number 3, I have Lon Harris versus Ethan Irwin, which another one was just such a high level of play between Lon Harris and Ethan Irwin. They play almost perfect games each, and the score is 24-20, which is absolutely insane. And Lon Harris is just such a great personality, and it's such a cool thing to have Lon Harris in the league.
Those are definitely some great picks there, Linus. Also going to have some great picks. Matt, what is your 5 through to 3?
So, my number 5 match is the Star Wars Triple Threat match from the live event. I just thought, as a huge Star Wars fan, this is 3 of the best players we have in the Star Wars League. Just, man, they were just going at it, and it was just so much fun to watch. And as with the Star Wars League, it's my favorite league to kind of play along with. Also, this was famously for our channel. This is where the Ken Napzok famous Take 17 line came from his promo in this, which was just a really fun moment. But overall, it was just great Star Wars trivia being played. At number 4, I have Who's the Boss versus Corruption. The match itself, trivia wise, was a good match, I think, but everything surrounding it was the promos. If you saw our top 10 moments, I'm not sure when this is aired. We had I'm not sure when this was aired exactly, the order, but I have one of the quotes. Kalinowski's a little ninny bitch from Mark Riley. The stare down between Ken Napzok and Tom Dagnino, Ben Bateman just being on fire. And then also on the other side, Ken and Mike were fantastic, and Chance this is where sort of he started to really develop his sort of character. And I just thought the interplay between everyone was fantastic. And then at number 3, I have, similar to Kristen Smith, I have Team Action versus DC Movie News. This, I believe, if I'm thinking the schedule correct, was the first time the Schmoedown decided to pin 2 of my favorites against each other and forced me to choose on reactions. So that sucked. And then they kind of just stuck the nail in the coffin by having DC Movie News break up at the end. Yay! Or boo, I don't know. But I loved the trivia being played, but the storyline of DC Movie News breaking up and Mike sort of beginning his journey to the dark side was fantastic. But also, Team Action were just so on in this. Andrew Guy walking out and going to do the Mike sort of kiss and point, and then just turning into a middle finger, and just the way they were laughing at Kalinowski and Mike. This might be the most intense we've ever seen Mike in a trivia match, because like when they roll James Bond in round 2, he gets he's just channeled in. He just is going to win. So yeah, so that's my 5 to 3.
Yeah, those were definitely some great picks there, and storylines are great. Now my 5 through to 3 is at number 5. I've got Lon Harris versus Ethan Irwin. This is just a really fun match, and it's the first time we saw Lon up against someone who is really good. I mean, I'm not saying Cody isn't good, but he was surprised, but Ethan Irwin was just really good, and just seeing those two juggernauts go up against each other was just fun. It was just really good match. My number 4 was Patriots versus Above the Line 2. This was a fun match, and it definitely set the stage for one of my other picks I've got on here. But yeah, this just a great match. My number 3 I've got is Shire Wolves versus Sick in the Head. This is the match where the Shire Wolves finally got the titles, and it's part of the reason why I put it there. Also, this is just a really fun match because the question going into this match was who is Brienne's partner, and we found out all our guesses wrong because it was someone we've never seen before, and they showed that they really worked together as a team. But yeah, those were my 5 to 3. And I'm going to throw it over to Kara. Kara, what is your number 2 match of the year?
Yep, we're practicing her spitting on things, which is a great new sound. All right, so my number 2, yeah, it's probably a little high, but you know what? I don't care. And people might ask me, Kristen, why didn't you put John Rocco winning the singles belt? Kristen, why didn't you put any of Van Drago's matches? You know what? Because
Kristen, why didn't you put John Rocco winning the belt?
Because I didn't. Because I put top 10 versus top that. Confetti, you know? Okay, so this match, besides it being such a high-scoring match, it was entertaining, it was fun, it had top that was probably like the biggest oopsie-daisy of all time, giving top 10 biopics without even realizing that it was something they shouldn't do. They've been around the block. They should know, like, hey, maybe we should study the team that we're going to face. They didn't, pretty obviously. Because they gave them one of their biggest strengths. Even after giving them one of their biggest strengths, they still net 30 points. Like that, I mean, it's an insane amount of points for a normal 3-round match. And then you have top 10 hitting all of the round 1 questions, both of them. And I think one of the reasons that this is one of my favorite matches from the past year is because it finally got people to shut the heck up about Matt Nose not being good at trivia, because I can't tell you how many times I used to read, he's just not good. Roke is carrying him all the way through, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He got every single round 1 question right. They got every single one of their second round questions right, and they delivered in their 3rd round, and just ridiculous. So good. This match, I loved it. Seriously, one of the best matches of the year. Can't talk enough about it, except I have a time frame. So apparently I can. That's my number 2.
Yeah, there was definitely a great match, and definitely one of the underrated matches of this year that I forgot to put on my list. So, but Cody, what is your number 2 match of the year?
Okay, so my number 2, yes, and people might also ask me why didn't John Rooker win the belt? Because I fucking forgot. Okay, not saying that it didn't have. I just have been busy. I wrote this a long time ago, and he should have been there. It should be in this spot, but I won't make Abe change anything. So my second one is Mara versus Rachel. The reason why, it's just for 2 people to show up to put on a match for us that were both feeling like total shit, and to hit every question and miss pretty much every question the same, to go down to the wire, and it just finally came to the end. It was just like, it was literally an exhausting fight, and it turned out it went Mara's way. I wanted Rachel, but at the end of the day, it sparked the run that Mara, went on, including, she already had some before, but it pretty much solidified her as one of the top Intergeekdom players. It was just amazing, but yeah, I hate myself, and let's move on.
Yeah, don't feel bad, Cody. I also forgot John Roker winning the belt as well. So, but yeah, Linus, what is your number 2 match of the year?
Let's just remember that I did have John Roca winning the belt, made up for forgetting him last year on like players or whatever. But at number 2, I have Corruption versus Founding Fathers, which some people don't like the ending to this match, but I just think this is one of the most absolutely competitive matches we have ever seen. Just the fact that round 1, both teams were tied, and they both got like 11, 12 points, I think it was. And round 2, both teams get like 11 points in the round, do the exact same thing, tied still. Round 3, both teams get their 2 and their 5 and miss a 3, and it's still tied. And it's just this huge kind of feud that was going on in the storyline and just everything. The promos were so great, and have the match going this close that they were tied for pretty much the entire game until sudden death and to the whole David O. Russell thing, which was sort of controversial, but I think you can move past that one because Dan Murrell didn't have it down, and who cares about the Irish David O. Russell? No one. But then we get one of the best moments of the year with Roca kind of going to retire and then cutting a promo against Bibiani in the span of just one post-match interview, and it's such a cool match, and I thought that's one of the matches of the year for sure.
It was definitely a great match, and the Russell thing, everyone focused on for ages about it, but moving past that, we've got Matt. Matt, what is your number 2 match of the year?
So my number 2 match of the year is Andrew Guy versus Dan Murrell at the Collider Collision. I think I was one of the, what was it, like 9% of people who like actually legitimately believed Andrew Guy could beat Dan Murrell. It wasn't just my fandom, it was actually knowing how hard Andrew puts in when it comes to studying for the Schmoedown. I was like, he could do it. He could beat Dan Murrell. Dan Murrell's a human being. He's not some trivia god, because there are no trivia gods to Schmoedown. He could beat him. And then he not only did he beat him, he TKO'd him, and he knew Dan Murrell's question. It was just, you can watch my reaction. You can see Kristen and JTH, just their faces fall, whereas my face just raises as Andrew Guy just hops up and goes, "Fuck you, this is my fucking league." It was such a beautiful thing. And then like Alex coming out and being Cane Boy, and just everything about this was just hilarious. Like, it was just so funny. And it was unexpected, but in the best way possible, because I actually believed in Andrew Guy. I feel like the Dark Knight here. Like, I believe in Andrew Guy. So yeah, this match is just, it's a match I love to revisit all the time, because it's just so much fun to watch that ending.
Yeah, that ending was definitely great. And I'm kicking myself for forgetting that match. But besides that, my number 2 match is above line number 3, and this is the Iron Man match from Collision. This was just a really fun match, and it definitely showed how dominant above the line really is. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure it was kind of close as well, because I think Patriots really got a few points, but I think Patriots were just stung by a lot of sort of 70s questions as well. So this was definitely one of those ones which is a lot of an interesting match, but it was a fun match to watch and just fun to just see a whole knowledge of trivia without sort of worrying about strengths and stuff, and just a whole half an hour full of questions being answered. To tell us about their number 1 match of the year is Kristen. Kristen, what is your number 1 match of this year?
I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, but my favorite match of the year was the Shire Wolves versus Who's the Boss. I don't know that I had a stronger reaction to someone winning a match than this one. for similar reasons to the top 10 versus top that one, because like finally people can stop talking about how the Shire Wolves, didn't earn their title or don't, aren't good enough to have the title or whatever. Like they very well clearly proved that they deserve to have that title now. But also like everything about this match was so good. Just like overall, the entrances were great. The female entrance, like the Women of the Schmoedown entrance, was so good. And then Who's the Boss? They played their part really well as well. And then the aftermath of it with like the cutscene afterwards, everything about this match was sandwiched so well. Like you had great pieces of like rye bread, and then you had like sprinklings of really good condiments, and then like delicious corned beef and Swiss cheese. It was a Reuben of excellence. That's what I'm saying. This was a Reuben of excellence. That's what you get. This is what you're getting from me right now. Quality content, Reuben of excellence. My favorite match of the year.
There was a very Brooklyn Vale-esque answer to at the number one match of the year. But anyway, go to Brooklyn's arch nemesis, Cody. Cody, what is your number one match of the year?
Yeah, she almost put me in full tilt mode, sounding like Brooklyn Vale. I was just like, no, this is a show without him. But I couldn't agree more with Kristen. This is my number one. And I think it is not only, it's almost that both categories came up, even though they've said it in the past that Clark loves her Sandy B, but the whole thing is like to sweep both categories is insane, and especially for Who's the Boss to be able to sweep those movie was insane. And I watched it with Kristen and Sandy, and her reaction kind of just fueled over. Like you get excited because you know that person wants to win. It's probably anybody that was ever on a call with Linus when Who's Above the Line won. I didn't have I thought Who's the Boss could win, but I thought that match should have went on last at the Spectacular. I thought that match was phenomenal. But yeah, it clearly. I was really surprised the match that was in the last few videos actually climbed to number one. But it just shows all three of them put so much into it. And I just have to respect that, and it is the best match of the Schmoedown.
Yeah, but right. So next, he's going to probably shock us with his number one pick. Linus, what is your number one match of the year?
Okay, if you know me, this one's kind of obvious. It's Adam Hlavik versus Keaton Markey from the second round of the Inner Geekdom tournament. Now, this match was just nothing because my number one is obviously Above the Line versus the Patriots 2. I only had one Sam Levine match on here, though. Are you guys proud of me? There's just one. But, of course, it's this one because they won the belts. The stupid Patriots didn't go 10-0, and the Italian Job saved everyone. And Above the Line was behind, but they came back, and they took the victory, and the stupid Patriots lost. And they did a whole We Are the Champions thing in the beginning, but they're not the champions anymore because they lost. And then Above the Line was just such a well-played match. It's high scoring, and Above the Line's really cool, and they were the champions. And they never lost the belt.
Yeah, they didn't lose the belt. Sam just retired. But anyway, Matt, what is your number one match of the year?
Well, obviously, my number one match of the year is Who's the Boss versus Shire Wolves. I mean, when Who's the Boss just won this match, and everyone's just misremembering it on this panel. I don't know why. No, not even I could do that. Because, man, this was just like my favorite team didn't even win, and this is still my number one match of the year because this is probably my favorite teams match. This might be the best teams match we've ever had in the Schmoedown because if you can't tell. For as much as I love Trivia and Schmoedown, I love the ancillary stuff around it. There was so much building up to this. You had, just in the video itself, you had the cutscene before the match. You had the great promos, the great entrances by both teams. And then going beyond that, you had Riley and Clark facing each other, former teammates. You had Clark and Rachel facing Ben again. You had Emma versus Tom. Like, there was so much in this match, and then to just have it be so freaking, like, that round two is possibly one of the best round twos we've ever seen. Both teams, no multiple choice, they just killed it. And I mean, who's the boss? They got, I believe it's Festival Darlings, which, like, no one's good at. And they got them all correct without multiple choice. And God, there's so many things to say about this match. Cody and Kristen already said a lot to it, but then to just cap it off with what is my favorite moment of the 2018 season, with that cutscene between Ben and Drew. This is just a match that I am sure I'm going to revisit just tons of times over, because it's such a this is why I watch Schmoedowns, for matches like Shardwolves versus Who's the Boss.
Yeah, and that's great, and I mean, and that leads into my number one, because I've got the same number one match as well. I also had the Shardwolves versus Who's the Boss. I don't know what more I can say about this match that no one else hasn't already said, but it was definitely a great match, and yeah, then that's all I'm going to say about it, because everyone else has already said everything else. But anyway, to give us his list, Abe, what is your top 10 matches?
Hi, I look like an old lady with this hair. That doesn't matter. 6 months. So I have the great list because it's me. So my number 10 is what the fuck are you doing, man? Okay, my number
It's
10
like
is
Spaceballs. You're watching yourself. Continue.
my number 10 is Clark Wolf versus Mike Kalinowski. I think a lot of people forget this match. They went to sudden death. They went 21 to 20 points, I believe. It was a toe-to-toe battle. I like to watch fist fights for a reason. I once saw a hobo getting punched by that guy in a car outside of a drugstore. I don't know. It's just number 9, the triple threat match. I think Ken Absock, Alex Damon, and Joseph Scrimshaw are probably one of those rivalries that Damon always wins, that we forget. Like, a lot of people don't mention it when it comes to rivalries. You mentioned John Rocca versus Mike Riley. You mentioned the Horseman versus Team Action, but you don't mention that. Number 8 is Top 10 versus Top Dad, because that match is forgotten and it's a great match. 35-30, no more to say. Number 7, I don't forget it because I went to the playlist of the Schmoedown and see every single match to see if I can forget, so I can make sure I did not forget something. John Rocca versus William Bibiani. John Rocca is probably my number 3 favorite competitor, and winning the belt is great. Cody is flicking me off, and you're not able to see it because the little squares are hidden. Then number 6, Mark and Draco versus Drew McQueen, great match. 5, Rachel Cushing versus Mary Canopic, another great match. I think people want to call me off. Number 4, Self-Righteous Brothers versus Take the Cannoli. Why not? Number 3, Clark Wolf versus Ethan Irwin. Number 2, Shire Wolf versus Who's the Boss. And then the correct number 1, share with my friend Linus Babcock, Above the Line fam, Above the Line versus the Patriots 2.
Yeah, that was definitely a great list there, Abe. Now we go into the combined list. So our top 10 matches combined over all of Take 3 is at 9 equal is the Star Wars Triple Threat and Who's the Boss versus Corruption. At number 8, we've got Founding Fathers versus Corruption. And then at 5 equal, we've got Top 10 versus Top That, Team Action versus DC Reviews, and Lon Harris versus Ethan Irwin. Then at number 4, we've got Dan Merrill versus Andrew Guy. At number 3, we've got Mara Canopic versus Rachel Cushing. At number 2, we've got Above the Line versus the Patriots 2. And our number one match of the year is Shire Wolves versus Who's the Boss. That was our combined list, and that was our full list of our top 10 matches of the year. Now we go into plugs. Cody, plug yourself.
All right. You can find me on Wednesdays. Me, Malcolm, Robert are going to do watch-alongs. So we're going to split up the rotation, make it a little bit easier on all of us. You can find me on Thursdays at Late Night with Take 3 as the grumpy old man in the corner. No, that's the wrong plug. You can find me on Late Night with Take 3, also known as Brooklyn's Wrong for 2 hours. You can find me on Rankum as the grumpy old man in the corner that hates everybody's choices and mine's the correct one. You can find me over on Multiplex on Saturdays doing Nerdgasm. Me and Brooklyn are running that. It's a debate league about nerd stuff. Matt Kearns is joining at the end of the tournament. It's going to be a blast. And yeah, that's about it.
Kristen, what are your plugs?
As always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Smith_K10, the number, not the word. You can also find me right here on this lovely channel, the Take 3 Productions, where I host the Reactor Summit, which you're technically watching. So you should know that by now. If you don't know that, I host that show. And once we get back into regular Schmoedown goodness, we'll be talking all about the matches and the news and everything that happens in the Schmoedown universe every week. And, yeah, that's it. And if you haven't checked out our top 10 moments from 2018 from the Schmoedown, make sure you go and do that. Give it a like, because we like likes. It makes us feel good inside.
Linus, what is your plugs?
How is okay? Above the Line versus the Patriots 2 is such a good match, but you can find me on Twitter at Linus Babcock and around here on doing Schmoedown stuff. Yeah. But seriously, guys, come on. I was there for Who's the Boss for Shire Wolves, and I still know that ATL or Pats 2 is better.
Well, everyone else disagrees with you, Linus.
They're wrong.
Matt, what is plug yourself there?
Okay, guys, so you can find me on. God damn it, Abe! Had a whole thing worked out there.
I don't want those to get a strike or something.
Really? Have you watched most of your intros for the summit?
We usually don't get copyright because it's fair use. No, we don't.
This is fair use, I think. I sang it, yeah. No, you guys
can sing it. I'm fine with it.
Okay, fuck you, Abe. You guys can find me telling Abe to go and fuck himself on multiple programs here on Take 3. But you can follow me on Twitter at Kearns_Matthew, YouTube MattMovie611, and right here hosting Rhyme and Reason with Sandy Robinson and Second Look. Apparently, I'm not a part of watch-alongs. I thought I was. Apparently, I'm not. You can also find me doing a lot of trivia and debating things this year. I haven't done that since trivia was on this channel, so I'm very nervous. Well, unless you count the Schmoedown trivia, Schmoedown, I guess. Apparently, I'm a liar. Okay. Good night. Good luck.
Hey.
I can do that. You can follow me at Twitter at AbrahamF25, and I edit this. These are monsters to edit, so I hope you enjoy them.
And you can find me on Take 3 Productions, where I host my own show, Rankum, every Sunday night. We did best movies of 2016, 2018, somewhere down the line. I don't know where this is dropping, but yeah. You can also find me competing in trivia, Multiplex, and Full Metal, and also Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Melkor. And until next time, take care.